identify as transgendered. Um, I've kind of always felt like a boy since like a young age, and me coming out was talking to my friends about it, and I was really lucky because everyone in my friend circle that I came out to was very supportive. They all kind of said, you know, this really doesn't take me by surprise. I still love you, still support you. And then I came out to my parents kind of around Thanksgiving break. They kind of had the same reaction. They said they still love me and support me, but it's more difficult for them because for 22 years they've been calling me by my birth name and using female pronouns. So they've yet to change that. They still do that. And then I've got twin brothers, and I came out to them in December, and they said that there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and they don't think it's going to be difficult to change from my birth name to Keegan.
And I've always felt like I liked girls, but that was kind of, never hit it, but I just never explored it. I would fall in love with my best friends or whatever, but never made any kind of moves toward that. And then when I was about 19, I had an affair with my mom's best friend, and that's when I came out. She caught us together, so it was like a disaster. But needless to say, they weren't best friends anymore.
I was about 39 years old. I was married when I was 25 and was living a straight life. And life was good. I had a great job. I had a beautiful home. I had a wife who loved me, and by anybody looking outside into my life would have thought it was fabulous. But I was miserable and very unhappy. So at that time I went to see a therapist. First time in my life I'd seen a therapist. In my family, seeing a therapist was the ultimate form of weakness. But anyway, saw the therapist, and thought it was a career crisis. And eventually he came back and said, "Randy, you're in the perfect career. It's not that." And so then I went to another therapist and blurted out that I was gay. And that began a journey of really coming into my own and getting a sense of who I am.
Well, I had multiple coming outs. My first coming out as queer identified or lesbian was when I was 18, and I was at Mount Holyoke College, and it was a women's college. And my twin sister, came out like a month or two before, and so it was kind of an easy process. A lot of people expected it since my twin, so it was actually that was easy. Coming out as trans a couple years ago, maybe when I was 20, was probably the more difficult, and I feel like I'm still having to coming out as trans every single day because no one gets it. So
I identify as genderqueer, which is complicated in its own right and so simple to me it's not even funny. Explaining it's kind of hard, I guess. The cookie cutter format that I've come down to explain it to everybody is I'm attracted to girls, and well, I'm attracted to female-bodied people, but I don't see myself as a female necessarily. I find aspects of male and female both to be who I am, so I incorporate those into my gender.
I guess I identify as a straight male, but I guess technically the umbrella term would be transgendered. So I came out as lesbian my senior year of high school when I was 16. So, and then I came out to my family later that year.
How did they take it?
They didn't take it very well. My family's very conservative, and so they had a hard time dealing with it. My friends are really supportive, but my family definitely struggles with it. I'm still not even out to my entire family, just my immediate family, because it's a pretty big deal. I guess the biggest challenge is just finding my own path and dealing with my family and having to come out to them, because I haven't come out to them as transgendered and don't really know how I'm going to do that. And so that's be my biggest struggle, I guess.
I'm a gay man, and I've known it since I was about 9. At 14 years of age, I told my parents, and my mother slapped me and ran out of the room crying.
Yeah, I think first of all,
Don't give up on your parents. Remember, they're going through the struggle that you have just overcome. And so now they're just starting that struggle. So you have to have, number one, a little patience. The second thing, in the extended family, there are probably people who you can talk to.
I am Joe Hoffman. I'm the senior minister at First Congregational United Church of Christ in Asheville. A third to a half of our congregation is probably LGBTQ. It wasn't always that way. It wasn't that way when I came in 1996. So we have done a lot of work to create that, where we're an open and affirming community, welcoming of all people. It's been a wonderful thing for our church because it has opened us to people that don't traditionally go to churches because they feel excluded, and brought us a diversity of gifts and talents that we were really glad to have.
I was ordained in 1986 as a Presbyterian minister, and I think it was about 6 years ago I switched my ordination from the Presbyterian Church to UCC because I discovered over the years that historically they've been much more progressive and much more justice-oriented church. They've been kind of on the front line for every major issue. So,
yeah, this was about 7 years ago. I made the decision that I could no longer, it became clear to me that simply because I got ordained, I was given the privilege and the power to, when I did a wedding, to give these rights and privileges to people who were married. And there's over 1,100 rights and privileges that the LGBTQ community doesn't have. And when that really struck with me, it hit me that I was being an agent of the state. I was a participant in this discrimination. And when I got clear on that, I said, I cannot do that anymore.
We are the couple who went to the deeds office to ask for a marriage license and were denied, and did an act of civil disobedience. And we're in the court process now over that case.
The first time I used like the men's room was like at a mall in like a different city, and it like felt so great to like be in there and whatnot. But like even at work, I walked into the men's room, and then I guess somebody was like, "Hey, she just walked in there. Like, what's going on?" And someone like just explained, like, you know, that's not really any of your business. They go by he, and you know, that's that.
I get bullied subversively in the classroom. I get bullied in the, like here at UNCA even. I get bullied out in the street when I go to, if I go to, the one or two times I go to Walmart, I got like harassed. Get bullied in the park by homeless people. I mean, it happens. Yeah, the hate happens. It's there. It's everywhere.
Senior year was actually all through high school, was rough as crap. And not just because I was gay, but that definitely added to the hardship of it. Of the already hard life that I had, being queer on top of it just was the cherry. But you gotta keep going, because you gotta be like, alright, this is what I'm gonna do, this is my life, and I'm gonna be happy with it. And that's what I did. I ended up graduating when people were like, this kid's not gonna do anything. This kid.
Try to find a way to put it in perspective, because where it is right now is not the way it's going to be, you know, next week, next month, next year, you know, and if you can manage to get through this trough, you know, this too will pass, and try to, but of course the hardest thing for a young person is to have perspective, and you know, the more stuff you experience and go through, the more you realize that there's highs and lows in life. It's really hard to know that when you're young, and it just seems really grim. I'd probably ask them if they want to come live with us.
My whole life has been about doing and about achieving and making things happen, and that was the way that I got value. And what I realized is that that's not what's really important in this world. What's really important is just to simply be who we are.
For me, it's always just been being myself. I've not tried to be anybody else. You know, even now, when you asked me before if I identified as gay, lesbian, whatever, I'm just kind of Steph, you know, because you look at, it seems like in my time, you had to pick femme or butch. And I never fell into either category. So it's just Steph. So I'm even that way now. So it's just being yourself. And I think if you're yourself, then situations will kind of present themselves to you for you to ease out. You don't necessarily have to jump out with sparklers on and say, I'm gay. But sometimes you can just kind of step out into it and the situations come to you and you can ease yourself into it. Now,
I didn't think I would ever come to this point, but I am happy that we know, and we know from our hearts, our son, and that he's gay, and that it's opened this whole new world for us.
There's so many different people from all walks of life. We all have experiences to share. And as corny and cliched as it sounds, no one's alone. They all have a common theme or a commonality that they can find in someone else's story. And I find that extremely, to let someone know that they're not alone is a great service.
Mostly be true to yourself.
Yeah, be who
and
you
be
are.
honest. And I mean, I guess not honest if you can't, if you're fearing for your life or or something. But hiding who you are from yourself and anybody else is not going to be pretty. It's just going to get more and more difficult. And we're real into speaking our minds and plumbing the depths and and not hiding.
What am I proud of? That I'm alive. There were many times that I didn't think I would be. That I didn't think I'd be able to look at people and say it does get better, but I can.
But I'd like the young people to know, nothing should stop you, no matter what color you are, no matter what whether your documentation is here or not. The bottom line is, if you fight, if you have faith in yourself and faith in life, you'll make it.
And things do get better. It's hard to think about that, in that moment, but they do get better. So there's a lot worth living for, so just, I guess, get help.
We'll always have some sort of bullies in your life, and keep your head above the water, and just figure out a way to swim in it.
So